Does anybody have anything that you'd like to share? Any comments, questions, summary? Anybody would like to volunteer?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So
Yes.
here we understood that Paramatma is there in within our heart. So you will understand our sincere desire. So if we have sincere desire, means definitely he will show the path. Like the Maharaj mentioned, not Dhruv Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj also even desire. So immediately Sukadev Goswami appeared there to reveal his higher knowledge. So as we understood, like we need a sincere desire. So we have to cultivate that. Yeah, any other path which you are following, that should be like sincere. So if any path, even other religions also. Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to add, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Similar to the Ashok Prabhu said, I
Mhm.
like this lecture very much from the Maharaj. When he was talking about different religions related, how they are following, the form is different and essence is same. That point I like very much, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other thought here? Himachalapati. Yes. Kumarika Vatsati, you have it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
I
Mataji, please.
inclusivity of Sri Maharaj and following the footsteps of Prabhupada, he advised that yes, if you are a devout Christian, then follow Christianity, but be sincere in that. So it is nothing, their respect for other religions and the instruction to follow it fully. So that that way, that then you can progress spiritually. So the uplifting everybody in their own way. It is not compelling anybody to accept anything. Yes, I am dogmatic. That this is only right, and your religion is wrong. So I was very much fascinated by that attitude of Maharaj and Prabhupada.
Thank you. Any other devotee would like to add, please? Please don't feel shy. Please do say. Shelbari Mataji, any thoughts further?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The lecture is actually very, very beautiful. I mean, each and everything that he says, they are so deep and thought-provoking and beautiful. Particularly Maharaja, in addition to all what the devotees said, the way he explained why killing animals is not correct, and that example of a father not allowing to kill a son or a child of his who is lesser, because that is how we are compared to other animals or living entities. That was really very, very nice. Apart from everything else. That's it, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Vivek, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. The points which Maharaj mentioned are very great, Prabhu. So one is, yeah, he tried to reconcile many religious practices. As Kumarika Mataji mentioned, it was all encompassing by Maharaj. And the key thing which he spoke was, which I liked, which was again following Srila Prabhupada's mood, is as it is mood. That is, don't distort anything and don't leave the essence. So that is one. And take step by step, take steps to move towards the mountain, which is your goal. That is another thing which I like. And the examples which he quoted, Prabhu, were good. That is, thou shalt not kill example. And similarly to, if you can't kill a child who's supposedly not intelligent. So these two examples sort of sets the tone for why we should treat all living entities the same. So that was nice. And this aspect of the message is given by Krishna, and there's a devotee who is a messenger, and we should accept that message as it is, was also nice, Prabhu. And He mentioned 2 points of there is a question which was asked, and the answer to that was sincere desire, which is a sincere inquisitive spirit, and the descending mercy, wherein we need to keep the receiver on. So one question here is, how do we cultivate both these things, Prabhu? That is, how do we cultivate the sincere desire stage by stage, and how do we keep the receiver on in order to accept the descending mercy? So that is one question, Prabhu. And one more, another other point which Maharaj mentioned was there is the movement from impersonal feature to the localized feature to the personal form. So is a question in this connection is it that we have to move along these stages, or we can directly try to access the personal form of the Lord, Prabhu? Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anybody would like to answer to these two questions? I think the second question is straightforward and easy. I will take the privilege of answering the straightforward questions, the easy ones, the low-hanging ones. There is no need to go from Brahman stage to Paramatma to the Bhagavan. One can come directly. So when the Shastras describe that successively to a person is revealed the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the Bhagavan stage, it need not be for all. In the sense that when I say that, I have to qualify that statement. It doesn't mean that one has to follow the path of Brahman stage and then one is made aware of the Paramatma, and then one has to follow the practices for Paramatma stage, and then it's revealed. Then one has to follow the practices for Bhagavan stage, and then it's revealed. No. The method for Bhagavan stage of realization in and of itself can directly reveal the Supreme Lord Bhagavan, or it can, in cases of certain individuals, reveal to them progressively Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. One need not take the steps corresponding to those particular phases of realization. One can take the step for the final stage of realization, and that is sufficient. But the other question still remains: how to cultivate sincerity, right, Prabhu? Vivek Prabhu, that's your other question.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for the previous answer.
Yugala Kishore Prabhu, you have something? I have something to say too, but I'll hear Yugala Kishore Prabhu if he has something to say.
On the second question, I would have some point, and may probably come to the first. Just in addition to what you said, the absolute truth is the same, whether we take the Brahman or whether I take Paramatma or Bhagavan. It is just that the different aspect that one is able to realize. And by the mercy of our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada has given direct access to the Bhagavan realization, which includes the other two as well. So, and yesterday Maharaj was saying that when one come to the Bhagavan realization, one engages in his service, or the other way around, one starts serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one come to the Bhagavan realization. One minute.
Okay. Yes.
So the first question was that how to get the Vivek Prabhu, can you please state the first question, if you do not mind?
That's correct. How do we cultivate this sincere inquisitive spirit, and how do we tap into the descending mercy, Prabhu?
How to tap descending mercy. So there are two parts. Part one is the sincerity. If you see His Holiness Rumpa Swami Maharaj would always answer the question how, by association. Because this how to become sincere, how to become dedicated, how to become determined, all this question actually comes from the association of the devotees. And Maharaj would always say that when we come in association with the devotees, what do we do that? We do not do anything. We do that sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya. So when we come together, we actually do bhajana kriya. And because of that, bhajana kriya is nothing but the devotional practices, devotional service. And because of that, we actually develop this sincerity. So what happened, if we see Bhagavad Gita 2.62, we say Dhayato Vishayanpu Sangasteshu Pajayate. Sangasteshu Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha. So the desire to do something, it's just that it's not directly come because of that we see the sense object and then with that. So, but there is actually a triangle. If you see that how before we practice Krishna consciousness, how many of us have a desire to serve someone? We do not have that. But because when we started associating with the devotees through their words, through their readings, through their books. So because of one of the factor when we are associating with the devotees, actually we are tuning to their desire. And when we so that is the one aspect of association. When taking association means we are taking their desire to our desire and cultivating that things. So when we have a desire, when we associate with the devotees, those who have that sincerity, we are tuning to their desire of sincerity, and we actually develop that desire of becoming sincerity. So Srila Prabhupada once said that, so this developing desire is not directly that we see something, and actually the desire is developed through the association of the devotees. And that is where today we are here, is because of hearing regularly, consistently through the acharyas, and that is actually giving us a desire that we should read, we should hear, we should chant, and we should become seriousness. So that even to the question that you are asking is actually a result of that, because you would like to do that, and which is the very great beginning for all of us, that which actually shows that we are hearing very inquisitively and very sincerely. And the second part, maybe somebody we can add on that. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for highlighting the role of association, Guru. Before I get into how to cultivate sincerity and tap into descending mercy, the second part, I just wanted, it's 7:08, before 7:15, be 7 minutes more max. I just wanted to highlight some key sentences which Maharaj had spoken today. Uh, and I'm going to contradict myself here when as I'm going to speak, but it's part of the appreciation here. In the beginning, Maharaj said, God notices our desires, our distractions, our affection, and lack of it. It is very easy for someone to just say, there is Paramatma in the heart. He notices what we are doing. But when we use the word desire, it is the icha, and it is the distraction. It is the bahirmukha jiva, or that is the jiva which is looking outside or looking inward. Both. So the distraction is not valuing what we have and instead looking everywhere else. There is this priti or sneha, which is affection, and the lack of it. So in one sentence, Maharaj was very eloquently talking about what ails all of us. It's our desires, our distractions, not and our affection going to the wrong person, to the wrong things as such. Like say, for example, I may have, in one sense, an extreme affection, not just for a person. Sometimes we are having an intense affection for things of this world. I may want a good house. I may want to have a nice gadgets, etc. So our affection is for things many times, not for even people. Forget even the Supreme Lord. So very eloquently, Maharaj brought this out. And few minutes later, he said when he went to Harvard, there was somebody else who was much more eloquent. And instead of this, and he just said, instead of I being more eloquent, I just spoke from my personal experience. In other words, there are two aspects coming out. Maharaj is very eloquent, but he considers his eloquence is nothing great. And he said, but he's a big scholar. He is able to use words in a very nice way. And yet, although Maharaj is able to do it, he's still saying, I'm just telling from personal experience. That's the one aspect of it, is the humility. And the other aspect of it is, the more one sincerely focuses on the absolute truth, one becomes very specific. One doesn't become a generalist. And as one becomes very specific, they try to appreciate what they're reading and hearing and see very precisely what is being said. And while they appreciate precisely what is being said, the way they express it is also that precision comes into picture. So it's a gradual progression for all of us. And most of us may not be there, but it is good to at least identify that great souls have that brevity in speech, preciseness, definitely. But most importantly, the, the fuel for brevity and precision is not the language skills alone. The fuel for it is a keen observation of what God is giving to oneself. In other words, one becomes very much aware of one's own self and the world around. Because the moment one becomes aware, like when during chanting, the more we are aware of Krishna, the name Krishna or the name of Radharani in the form of Hare, or the name of Lord Rama, or Krishna who gives enjoyment to Srimati Radharani. That is also another meaning of the word Rama. The more one becomes aware of Krishna, Krishna makes us aware of what's happening in others' hearts and our own hearts. And it is that real maturity due to which one is able to perceive what's happening in others' hearts, what's happening in the world, and very concisely express it, directly, precisely express it. We often think that we need to have some skills to express it. But here it is, we can see from Maharaj's focus on the absolute truth and the focus on the message of his Acharya, of his Guru, Srila Prabhupada, that what is my Guru saying in these pages of Bhagavatam? What is he saying in this lecture? And trying to apply it inside makes him aware of others. That was one point there. Second, Maharaj said that one can get to a phase of reality and be stuck in it. And this was in response to a person, which we all also said, like somebody was about Christianity, Islam, etc. One should know whether one is stuck in a phase of reality. And he said there has to be a sincere, inquisitive spirit for understanding the nature of absolute truth. Many times, what happens, at least to Indians, if not others, it happens in every nation, it happens in every religion. One is comfortable either with the religion that one is born in at the time of birth or what is practiced in the society around him. But beyond religion beyond the code, when I say religion, it's a codes of dharma. Beyond just the codes of dharma is the rasa aspect of how one has an exchange with the Supreme Lord. And there's also the tattva, what is my relationship with everything in the world. And it is very tough for most of us to have that sincere inquisitive spirit. And that is why we were discussing 1 week ago about intellectual inquisitiveness versus emotional inquisitiveness. Emotional inquisitiveness is that we want to connect to what drives another person. We want to connect to the feelings of the other person. And it is this emotional inquisitiveness which drives the acharyas like the Goswamis of Vrindavan to find out what is it that Srimati Radharani has in her love for Krishna. And it's not just what is in her love for Krishna, what is it that she likes so that I can give her something. Emotional inquisitiveness leads to service. Intellectual inquisitiveness mostly leads to pride. There's a difference. And that's why all of us as devotees, we have to make a transition at some point in time from intellectual inquisitiveness to this emotionally aware inquisitiveness. And part of that is the way Maharaj said that how to come to the emotional stages. I sincerely want to hear the message. And embedded in that phrase which Maharaj said is the humility that I'm not a big person. I'm not a person who knows everything, nor a person who, having known everything, can still say that I am in touch with reality. So it requires that humility there, that I want to connect to something higher. So that was one of the aspects. One small thing. So when Maharaj said he was going in the flight, he was sitting and chanting Hare Krishna. And wherever he goes, he starts taking the bead back. Most of us, we chant Hare Krishna, like we say, I may chant 1 round every day, 2 rounds every day, 16 rounds every day, etc. But for somebody who already chants 16 rounds, given a moment of time, or given a few minutes of time or a few hours of time, if they take the chanting beat and chant, not to say, yesterday I chanted 16 rounds, today I'm going to chant 24 rounds, 32 rounds, not in the pursuit of the number of rounds, but rather, this is my identity. My identity is I am a worshipper of the Nama. My identity is I'm a servant of the holy name. So let me get back to my identity of chanting the holy name. That is the kind of person we see in Maharaj, that wherever he goes, automatically the hand comes back to or the palm comes back to the beats and he starts chanting the holy name. That's just one appreciation of his character. And um, when somebody said, about commitment, he said, I like the word commitment. That's the first step. And it's because he's deeply imbued with that very same aspect in his life, that of commitment. And he knows what it means to be committed. He knows how it will be, how he was tested for his commitment. He knows that there were so many of his likes that he had to let go for his commitment. He knew that there were challenges way beyond him that he had to do for his commitment. There was a time when Maharaj felt, this is just getting too much. Let me just get out of it. And one night, Maharaj had a dream in which Prabhupada said, Maharaj looked at him and the message that he got, it was a dream in which Prabhupada looked at him and the message that he got was, continue doing the service. It's easy to do. Somebody comes and says something to us and we do it for one day. But to do things day in and day out, although it may be challenging for years and years, it's not easy at all. And it definitely means that one should have found something that one likes in the process for all these days. Because the path of spiritual realization is like the way the Upanishads say, it's like walking on the edge of a very narrow blade. Like a blade is so narrow. Walk on the edge of it. A little thing here, one falls this way. Little thing, one falls that way. And when we walk on this, it's in absolute darkness. And occasionally there is a streak of light. So we have to be careful of that streak of light. We have to observe it and see what is the path ahead. And with that path ahead, with that focus, continue when there is darkness. Streaks of light come far and few in between. And for the rest of the time, it is darkness. And why is it that Krishna has given such a system? Because it is this system that makes us dependent on Krishna. It is not by our effort and by our qualifications that we can walk on that narrow path. It is the prayer and the grace from Krishna that makes us walk on that narrow path. Much more to say. Already 7:20, but I think I'll stop here. One last thing from anybody else, critique or anything else that you have to say.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Maybe we can take my question tomorrow, but I was about to ask one question. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Please do. Please do, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So, Prabhu Maharaj was saying for like moving for one step to another step, in the progression in the bhakti path, the first thing is the person should have the desire, and second thing, the descending mercy, and descending mercy in the form of Bhagavatam book and the like representative of the God, and representative the God, the Bhagavatam book or Bhagavatam person, like that Maharaj ji was mentioning. And in another class also, like Maharaj ji was mentioning, like suppose if any bhakta is moving in the path of bhakti, only the mercy can propels him to move in the bhakti. Only mercy, like personal efforts doesn't matter. But my question is, suppose one bhakta is there, one devotee is there, he is doing 16 round chanting, following all four regulative principles, and reading Bhagavatam, and doing some services, devotional services. So what about his personal efforts? Will this personal efforts not help in moving the bhakti? Only that mercy is required. This is my question.
Well, I'll just say the way I understood it from Nityananda Prabhu recently, many times, and he told it many times too. And I feel it's a very complete answer. We often put effort as something that uh, we put from our side to achieve something, and that is like say I am here one box and God is another box. Effort is what I put from my box to go to God, and mercy is the box. A mercy is the thing that happens from God to come closer, and we both meet along the line. Right? If on a straight line you have two boxes, me and God, there's a distance d between them. Effort decreases distance a little bit. Mercy decreases distance a little bit. So these are two distinct things. Is what we generally see, right? But what we understood, what I probably very nicely said is, our effort is not that we move our box, that me on the straight line towards God. It invokes the grace or the Kripa Shakti of the Supreme Lord, such that Supreme Lord comes closer. We stay where we are mostly, but He comes closer. So the distance D is twofold coming here, because when we put the effort, we are covered by several kleshas or several clouds of impurities. That one by one, that cloud of impurity is dissipated. Just like when the sun rises, the fog dissipates. Our effort invokes the grace of the Supreme Lord, who dissipates one layer off, and we are able to see the absolute truth even more. That is how the effort in mercy can work. Does this help?
Yes,
No.
yes, I understood, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
We'll meet again, but tomorrow we'll have just a question and answer session, because there are many questions piled up. We'll not hear a lecture right from the beginning. It will be a question and answer session. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna.